Hello. Today is Friday, July 17th, and this is another episode of Friday 5 at 5 with Denver Public Library. My name is Lainey. I'm a librarian at DPL's downtown central location, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll have you up to speed on 5 new titles we can't wait for you to read or listen to. Got holds? Curbside pickup is now available. Once you get your notification that your hold is ready, go online or give us a call at 720-865-1192 to make an appointment at your preferred branch. We can't wait to see you, masked per state ordinance. Our customers are also able to place new holds on physical materials, up to 10 at a time for now. Feel free to place holds on the print versions of any of the books we mention here today. And now on to this week's 5. At number 1, we have The Only Good Indians by Boulder author Stephen Graham Jones, coming soon to Overdrive in ebook and e-audio formats, book on order. Beautifully written, funny, and packed with sharp societal insight, The Only Good Indians follows 4 Blackfeet men caught in the crosshairs of a supernatural entity hell-bent on revenge after a fateful elk hunt 10 years prior. Rooted in cultural identity and told from 4 compelling points of view, this atmospheric horror story packs a bloody yet literary punch. In the contemporary Blackfeet territory of Montana, readers meet Richard Boss Ribbs, Lewis Clark, Cassidy Sees Elk, and Gabriel Crossguns, and learn about them by way of their observations of one another, and those of other humans and non-humans. Voices change, but the narrative flows naturally, with no room for confusion. Of special note, the audiobook narrator is Sean Taylor Corbett, of Blackfeet tribal heritage himself. Don Graham, reviewing the book for Spectrum Culture, says, Jones has filled his book with so much humanity that you hope it's the kind of art that alters perceptions. It takes all kinds of narratives to change the world. Given the times, it makes perfect sense that one should be a horror story. For fans of Peter Straub, Josh Mallerman, and certainly Jordan Peele's sociological psychological horror films. As Entertainment Weekly asks, could Stephen Graham Jones be the Jordan Peele of horror literature? We at 5 at 5 think so. Next, we have The Sensitives, The Rise of Environmental Illness and the Search for America's Last Pure Place by Oliver Brody. Print book on order, ebook coming soon to Overdrive. The Sensitives is a dramatic exploration of the mysteries of environmental illness. Journalist Brody visits an eastern Arizona community with a wealthy sensitive riding shotgun, where people who have been marginalized for their hypersensitivities are learning how to respond to and avoid common symptom-triggering toxins. While Brody's book is wry, pacey, and down-to-earth, it also dives deeply into compelling corners of medical and American history. He finds telling parallels between sensitives and their cultural forebears, from the Puritans to those refugees and dreamers who settled the West. Ousted from mainstream society, these latter-day exiles nonetheless shed bright light on the anxious, noxious world we all inhabit now. Read along with Bill Bryson's The Body, A Guide for Occupants. At number 3, Natural History by Carlos Fonseca. We have the print book coming soon, ebook format coming soon to Overdrive. In this literary tour de force, translated from its original Spanish, Fonseca introduces a natural history museum curator who finds himself knee-deep, wading through the fascinating family history of a fashion designer who disappears before completing an exhibition for the museum. The book overflows, as has become the author's trademark, with multiple stories that divert the reader in different directions, but which slowly begin to trace the contours of a recognizable conceptual phantasmagoria. Animal lovers will delight at the protagonist's obsession with creaturely furtiveness and wild animals' natural ability to self-camouflage. And fans of ambitious structure vendors, like Italo Calvino, will appreciate the novel's planet and decade-spanning mystery that connects 1970s New York to the jungles of Latin America. This is ecofiction of a sort that doesn't come straight at the reader, but rather requires a bit of dancing and a game of hide and seek. If you enjoyed Alvaro Enrique's Sudden Death or Killing Commendatore by Haruki Murakami, Fonseca's Natural History will be right up your alley. More Miracle Than Bird by Alice Miller is our fourth title today. Available on Overdrive as an ebook, book now available. This is Miller's debut novel, historical fiction that explores the incandescent meeting and marriage of English Georgie Hyde Lees, 25, and Irish William Butler Yeats, 52, in 1917. The book's unusual title is from a line in Yeats' poem Sailing to Byzantium. The novel takes place in England on the eve of World War I, and like Paula McLean's The Paris Wife and Melanie Benjamin's The Aviator's Wife, Miller's conceit here is seeing a famous man from the viewpoint of his partner. Moving in the same social circles in London, both Georgie and William were obsessed with the occult, and belonged to the mystical, hermetic Brotherhood of the Golden Dawn, which focused its practices on theurgy and spiritual development. As forces, both of this world and the next, pull Yeats and Georgie closer, then further apart, Georgie uncovers a secret that threatens to undo it all. A sweeping tale of faith and love, lost and found and fought for. More Miracle Than Bird ingeniously captures the moments, both large and small, on which the fates of whole lives and countries hinge. To hear Miller and the aforementioned Paula McLean discuss their titles, tune into Watermark Books' free Zoom event next Tuesday, July 21st. Details at the link below in the notes. And at number 5, we have Why We Swim by Bonnie TSUI, on Overdrive as an ebook, print book available, now that the library can again fulfill physical holds. Why do we swim? Author TSUI takes us from ponds to pools to surfers, racers, and a few strong survivors. Toggling between swimmers' personal anecdotes and researched reportage, TSUI has accumulated an impressive trove of information on the history of swimming, generously interspersed with references to important cultural works. The descriptions of her diving for abalone, competing in swim meets as a youth, and setting out for her first swim across the San Francisco Bay to Alcatraz are evocative, pulling the reader along in a current of vivid prose. There's a poignancy, too, to the fact that Why We Swim arrives just as COVID-19 has made so many bodies of water, from public swimming pools to beaches, more or less off limits. But you can read it to remember just how good a swim can feel on a hot summer day, and dream about when such a day will come again. Looking for another entertaining read on embracing a sport? Try The Incomplete Book of Running from NPR's Peter Sagal. Plus, in case you missed it, check out NIOURK by STEFAN, illustrated by Olivier VATINE, available on Overdrive as an ebook, print book also available. First published in English by Dark Horse in 2018, translated from the original French, this absorbing graphic novel by the author of Fantastic Planet is just now available as an ebook, and the timing could not be better. Centuries after an ecological catastrophe caused the world's oceans to dry up, humanity has regressed to a primitive state, and only a few tribes have survived. One of them, the horde led by Those, has in its ranks a unique member, a black child that they disown. The announcement that the elder of the tribe will visit Santiago, the village of the gods, seals the child's fate, since when this elder returns, he will be sacrificed. But the old man never comes back. Darkchild, as he's called, decides to go in search of this village, not knowing that his journey will lead him to rediscover the human civilization of the past, that of the 20th century. The title here refers to New York, of course, the eventual destination of Darkchild's first road trip. VATINE is well in charge of taking advantage of all the scenarios that the novel explores, from wild landscapes to a futuristic New York reclaimed by nature. New York is a wonderful mix between the wild and the technological, the scientific and the mythological, capped by a complex ending. For fans of the Saga graphic novel series and Sandra Newman's The Country of Ice Cream Star. And that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Denver Public Library's Friday 5 at 5. Check out or place a hold on these titles and a whole lot more right now at denverlibrary.org. Link below. And be sure to tune in next week for a whole new batch of recommended reads.